Welcome to Ask WG, the weekly segment where you, the viewer, get to ask us questions and we'll try our best to answer it.
Emphasis on the word try,
Yes.
by the way. Yes.
The first question comes from Stephanie. She asks, in Call of Duty Ghosts, can you play the campaign split screen? If so, what's the maximum amount of players? Now, Call of Duty campaigns generally don't have co-op in them.
No, they generally don't.
Although this is Call of Duty Ghosts made by Infinity Ward, who do the Spec Ops missions.
Yes, so there will definitely be some co-op in Call of Duty. Whether it's in the single-player campaign, I don't know. But yeah, they are bringing back Spec Ops mode, and that's definitely going to have co-op. I think that one's even co-op up to 4 players now as well. Yeah, so definitely lots of fun for the whole family.
Next up, we have Joseph, who asks, what do you think of the new PS4 controller? Now, we've both had hands-on time on it.
Yes, we have. I think, do you feel that it makes a difference depending on the game you're playing? I don't feel it does, but...
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I only did play like a couple of games, but
Which ones did you play?
I played Warframe.
Yep.
I played like a little indie game that was on top of the PlayStation booth. I played Secret Poncho, which was cool little game.
Okay. I like the name. I never. I didn't even see that one. Like
that was
E3
kind of like
so
tucked
huge.
in the corner. What about you? What did you play?
Same. I played Warframe, but I also played Blacklight Retribution. So, what else did I play? I think I had to go at Octodad as well. Octodad. That seems like a really silly game. But anyway, the controls for those, like probably the best difference between the two is Warframe and Blacklight Retribution. Even though they're both shooters, the control setups are quite different. You've still got your standard triggers as you're shooting and stuff like that, but the way they use the new features on it, such as like the touchpad, very different. In Warframe, you have powers, and so the way you activate your powers is you just swipe left or swipe right or up or down on the touchpad, and that activates that power. In Blacklight Retribution, the touchpad is just a swipe any which way you like, and it activates your see-through vision ability. And that's it, sort of a thing. So, like, one's very sensitive with its touchpad, one not sensitive at all.
Did you find it was able to cope with that level of sensitivity? Like, if you tried to swipe in Warframe, did it go the direction you wanted?
At first, I had a bit of trouble with it, but that was because of where the touchpad is, trying to get your thumb over to hit, especially when you're trying to swipe, say, using your right thumb to swipe left is very difficult, where using your left to swipe the other way, super easy.
Or you could always take your hand off the controller and just swipe and go back.
Yeah, but with a first-person shooter as well, you're trying to use your dual analog sticks at the same time, so one to aim, one to move, and then trying to activate a power, it made it a bit more difficult.
But the controller itself did feel really good.
It really did felt really ergonomic, and that's a big improvement from the last controller. The PlayStation 3 controller, the first time I used it, I actually thought I broke it. Because I was used to using a PlayStation 2 controller at the time, and I pressed down on the on L2 and R2. I pressed down on one of them, and I didn't realize that it bent back a lot further than the last trigger. And I went, "Oh no!" Like it was my mate's brand new PlayStation 3, and I've just broken it. And I said that. I went up to him sheepishly and I said, "Look, mate, I broke it." And he went, "What?" And he looked at it and said, "No, that's the way that works." And I went, "Oh, it's really dumb."
So a definite improvement then.
Absolutely, 100%. I actually like the length. I mean, it sounds really dumb, but I actually like that they've extended the length of the handles as well. G'day, I'm here with Darby McDevans, the lead writer behind Assassin's Creed 4. So, Assassin's Creed 4, a little bit different this time. We're now looking at the Caribbean as opposed to pioneering America. Can you tell us a little bit about why the change of scenery?
Well, when we were making Assassin's Creed 3, we had this idea to tell the what we call the Kenway family saga, right? So we had Haytham and Connor, and Haytham was a surprise in Assassin's Creed 3, but we had these two great characters in AC3. But little did everybody know, we had already started planning Edward's story. So he's the grandfather of Connor, the dad of Haytham. And we had this in the works about almost 2 years ago now. And we knew that, okay, there we had this naval system that was awesome. We have this character that should be 20 years old or so in the early 1700s. So that's smack in the middle of the golden age of piracy. So it was a natural fit for us. We did some research, found out like assassins and pirates have some similarities, some differences, and we found this clever way that we could like really combine the two and make a big Assassin's Creed game set or a pirate game set in the Assassin's Creed universe.
Fantastic. Now, in previous Assassin's Creed games, we've always looked at these these ancestors through the eyes of Desmond, the original character. But this time we're looking at Desmond's ancestors through another character. Can you tell us why this decision was made?
Well, when we started looking into how we'd want to tell our post-Desmond story, we started to realize that there was this kind of like very epic challenge trying to tell two simultaneous stories at once. You know, there was always the past story and the present day story, and they would get out of sync every so often. And we really wanted to remove one barrier so that the player himself or herself was playing the ancestor directly, and that would allow us to tell self-contained stories with every title. So Assassin's Creed 4 is going to have a self-contained story in its present day and its past, but of course the universe will keep expanding as we go on.
Right.
And that was our basic motivation for that.
The Assassin's Creed games are, of course, always based in the books of history, and we've always seen them progress forward in time. Though, starting with Assassin's Creed 1, we had Altair during the Holy Crusades. Then we have Ezio in the Middle Ages during the Renaissance, and then, of course, we have Connor in sort of the frontiers of the United States. Will there ever be a Assassin's Creed game maybe set towards more modern history, just following that progression, maybe in the 20s, the 40s, 60s, or even today?
Obviously, with a device like our Animus and our commitment to historical research, we can do anything we want in this game. We can go anywhere we want. That being said, a huge number of people on the team really like the fun of going back into history, researching things, bringing periods to life that have never been seen before in games. And at the same time, we want to keep our Assassin's Creed core gameplay mechanics. And if you go too far in the future, you're going to have to deal with things like guns, things like cars. You know, if you can imagine an Assassin's Creed game with cars, well, we have other games at our studio that are maybe good at that, you know. So we really, I think a lot of us want to dedicate the Assassin's Creed franchise to bringing history to life, especially periods of history that have never been touched.
Cool. One final question for you. I saw someone on the internet had made an image, sort of when people were guessing what Assassin's Creed 4 was going to be, and somebody invented one set in Japan where you've got the samurai as assassins and stuff like that. Do you think we'll ever see Assassin's Creed games that aren't based on Desmond's ancestors?
Oh, we already have. You know, we have Evelyn from Liberation. She's not one of Desmond's ancestors, so yes, that would be the answer. Absolutely, that is possible and probable.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, man. Have a good show.